Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Students, today inshallah we will see how to prepare purchase written book. Okay, this purchase written book is also called as purchase written journal. Okay, so in this book, purchase written of goods are recorded. So when the goods purchased on credits are returned to the supplier, these are recorded in purchase written book. Okay, so sometimes goods purchased are returned to the supplier for various reasons, such as the goods are not of the required quality or are defective, okay, or it is of low quality, etc. For every return, a debit note in duplication is prepared and the original one is sent to the supplier for making necessary entries in his book. Okay, so the supplier may also prepare a note which is called as a credit note. So the source document for recording entries in the purchase written journal is generally a debit note. So a debit note will contain the name of the party, that is to whom the goods have to be returned, then details of the goods returned and the reason for returning the goods. Okay, so each debit note is serially numbered and dated. Okay, now we will see the format of purchase written journal. Okay, it is there in the textbook, page number 127. So on the first column, on the top you will have to write purchase written journal. On the first column you will have to write the date. Next column is for debit note number. Okay, so this debit note number will be given in the question. And next you will have to enter the name of the supplier, okay, who has supplied it to you. And then LF and then amount. Okay, so this is the format of purchase written book. It's very simple. First is date, next is debit note number, name of the supplier, that is account to be debited, LF and amount. Okay, now we will see what is debit note. So a debit note is also called as debit memo. Okay, so it is a document evidencing a debit to be raised against a party for reasons other than sale on credit. Okay, so on finding the goods supplied are not as per the term of the order placed, okay, what has to be done is if the goods are defective, okay, then it is returned to the supplier of the goods and a note is prepared to debit the supplier. Or when an additional sum of recoverable from, or when an additional sum is recoverable from a customer, such a note is prepared, okay, to debit the customer. So with the additional, such a note is prepared to debit the customer with the additional use. So in these two cases, the note is called a debit note. Okay. Now what is credit note? So when a customer returns goods purchased on credit, he also expects some form of confirmation from the seller along with the cancellation of related dues. So a credit note is a document sent by a seller to the buyer as a notification to acknowledge that the goods has been registered as a written inward. Okay, so a credit note is prepared when a party is to be given a credit for reasons other than credit purchase. So it is a common practice to make it in red ink. Okay, so when goods are received back from a customer, a credit note should be sent to him. Okay, now we will see the format of debit note and credit note. Okay, on the top you have debit note. See the debit note, it's there in page number 128. So when you see the debit note, on the top you will have to enter the name of the firm issuing the note. Okay, the name of the firm which is issuing the note. Okay, and on the right hand side, first number. On the side you will have to write number, and here the debit number has to be entered. Okay, debit note number has to be entered. Then against, so when you write against, you will have to write the supplier's name, okay, who has supplied goods to you. Okay, then goods returned as per delivery challan number has to be entered below the supplier's name, and details of goods returned has to be entered, and the amount has to be entered. And on the right hand side, address of the firm. Okay, the firm, address of the firm who is issuing the note that address has to be entered, and date of issue has to be entered, and then below amount has to be entered. Okay, it has to be written, and at the end, towards the right hand side, at the end of the note, signature of the manager with date has to be made. Okay, now we will see what is credit note. So credit note, also on the top you will have to write the name of the firm which is issuing the credit note, and on the right hand side, number of credit note. Okay, credit note number has to be entered on the left hand side, and then below that, again, that the customer's name has to be entered. Okay, and goods returned by the customer challan number has to be entered after that, and then details of goods returned. Okay, and then amount has to be entered. Okay, and on the right hand side, address of the firm which is issuing the credit note has to be entered, and then date of issue, below that the amount, and at the end on the right hand side, signature of the manager with the date has to be entered. So this is the specimen of debit note and credit note. Okay, so now what we will do is, in our last class when we did purchase book, okay, when we did purchase book, we all did one sum. Okay, just we will take this first transaction here, okay, which is done. Just see here, the first transaction. Okay, yeah, see here, August 4 purchased from MS Nima Electronics, invoice number 3250, 20 mini size. Okay, 20 mini size TV at rupees 2000 per piece. Okay, 15 tape recorders. 15 tape recorders at rupees 12,500 per piece, and okay, per piece. Okay, trade discount on all items is 20%. Okay, so the same transaction we will take. This is there in the textbook, okay, which is done in our last class, 126 page number. So we will take the same transaction, and we will just assume that when these goods were bought and when it was delivered, 2 mini TVs and tape recorders were found defective. Okay, 2 mini TVs and 1 tape recorders were found defective, and this will be returned. Okay, so in this case, how are you going to prepare this purchase return? Okay, now who is the supplier here? Okay, so this is your format of purchase return journal. Okay, now, okay, we just have to assume that the debit number date is not given. Okay, this is the purchase return book, and debit note number is it is 3/2017. We just have to assume. Okay, name of the supplier. Now who is the supplier? Nima Electronics. So below the name of supplier you will have to write Nima Electronics, and it was told 2 mini TVs was defective and 1 tape recorder. So when you calculate after discounting, after deducting the discount, you get an amount of 13,200. So this has to be entered on the amount side. Okay, I'll just show you this one. See here, debit written. Okay, so date, then debit note number 3/2017, Nima Electronics, LF, amount is 13,200. It's very simple. Okay, and now if you are posting from purchase return to journal, it is same like other things. Okay, if you are if you're posting it to journal, then you will have to open Nima Electronics account. Journal entry will be Nima Electronics account debited to purchase return book. Correct. So Nima Electronics account should be debited. On the debit side you will have to write purchase return 13,200. Okay, and in your purchase return account is credited. So on the credit side you are going to write sundries as per purchase return book, or you can write Nima Electronics on the credit side. Okay, purchase return. In the purchase return account, as your journal entry is Nima electronics account debited to purchase written account. So purchase written account is credited. So credit side of purchase written account, you're going to write Nima electronics account 13,200. Okay, you need not write the sundries as per purchase written book. Okay, you can just write like that. Okay, this is very simple, and you all know this. Okay, this is just posting which we are doing for many days. Okay, I hope you all have understood this. Inshallah, in our next class, we will do sales book or sales journal book, inshallah. I hope you all have understood this. It's very simple. Okay, if you have not, then contact me. Jazakallah khairan.